Here on the Rule and Ryan Show with Eric, we like to open your eyes to a lot of things. And Houston, Texas, by far, loves to go out to eat more than any other city.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe we're like number 4 on the list. Let's say we're number 1 all the time in my head, because with the amount of restaurants we've got and the amount of joy it brings people to go out and share a meal together, like whether it's after work or, hey, let's hit lunch. It's Friday. Let's go to work lunch with our colleagues, or you want to get out of work early so you can get an early dinner with your friends, whatever. We love to go out to eat. So I feel like we as Houstonians and Houston area residents would relate to this story from Food and Wine more than the average person across America. What would embarrass you the most on a date at a restaurant? Because we have so much restaurant experience. Let's go around the room and ask y'all and see where it lands.
Okay, I'd like to start this. I would say if the person I'm with is rude to the wait staff.
Oh, that's a good one.
Would make me want to crawl under the chair.
Yeah, because you're not controlling their behavior. So you're like, what are you being such a blank hole? Ahmad, you?
The only thing I could come up with is farting. That would be so embarrassing.
Like, you have a flatulence issue?
I don't know. When I'm nervous, I do fart.
Oh, my God.
I do fart. when I'm
Need some
nervous.
gas
First
pills.
dates could be dangerous for you.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Special K, what would be the most embarrassing thing that happened to you at a restaurant if you were on a date? You were single and dating.
If the waiter came up and was like, "Hey, bro, good to see you again. Last weekend was so great."
Oh, no.
Oh, if you knew the waiter, because y'all, yeah, that's
At a
a
club.
close time together.
Bro, I didn't know you were dating now.
Okay. Eric, what would be the most embarrassing thing that happened to you in a restaurant?
The credit card.
Declined?
Declined.
Or just forgetting, like, wallet. Decline. Decline would be the worst. But then you forget something, you just feel stupid. But decline.
forgets it?
But
You only have to
nowadays,
eat.
it's easier with your phone.
Yeah.
Apple Pay and that. That's.
I feel like there's always some kind
you
of an
lose
out.
it, yeah.
The decline thing I mentioned earlier, the decline does not embarrass me as much as if I was to eat something that was sprinkled with something green for garnish or for like flair, and the green bits were in my teeth the whole time I was talking.
Oh, yeah. Stuck right between the two front
That
teeth.
would just embarrass me so much because the person doesn't want to tell you. It's like having a booger in your nose or something on your face. They don't
You
want
eat
to tell you. They don't know
salads?
how to tell you.
You can easily get spinach up in your teeth when you get salad.
Exactly
you know?
right. And so the person
The
is so
seaweed
embarrassed. They don't
salad.
really want to tell you because it's a first date. Listen, the decline thing I could totally play off like, oh, I know that's so weird. I had to get a new credit card because my card got
Plus,
compromised.
this credit cards, sometimes they'll like flag you for security reasons.
Right.
It's still embarrassing. Like I used to watch TV shows from the 80s and 90s, and the guy get declined, and the lady would come, take the credit card and cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was back when they
Like
had
in the movies,
A declined credit card in the 80s is way more embarrassing than
Now
a
they
declined
don't-
credit card in
because they would have a
2025.
book of all the bad credit cards.
And you can just say nowadays someone like stole it or must have cloned it, or there's ways to get around it.
Yeah, so Food and Wine magazine listed the 5 things like this. Spilling wine or food on your clothes as number 5.
That's embarrassing.
Actually, there's 4 things. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't list it like a thing. Spilling wine or food on your clothes is the bottom of the totem pole. Then next up is burping. Rudely
Yeah.
burping or
Oh,
surprisingly
God.
burping. Okay. Having food stuck between your teeth. And the number 1 thing was having the credit card decline.
Or what if you
Really?
sneezed
Yeah.
and then you farted?
A sneeze fart?
A snort?
That hurt. That never happens to you. That'll hurt because it comes out of nowhere.
And then you might pee on yourself a little
You ever
bit.
done that? You never had that happen before?
A sneeze fart.
No.
Sure, then it's like
I
lightning
know my
bolts in your
babies
butt.
have. That's like a baby
No, it
viral
goes that
thing.
second after, like you sneeze, and then it's
Oh, okay.
not at the same time. It's really,
A chew.
but no, it's like
right.
it hurts.
Okay, Jinx, we'll take your word for that, Eric.
Yeah. I've never had
I thought this is a really fun article because you always see these things like back in my day. My son is 10 years old. Y'all have heard him recently. He was here
Sandwiches.
yesterday with the kids. MJ, yeah, he's 10 years old. And, he knows that we were born in the 1900s. But the 1900s to him is not the 1900s to us. We're like the 1900s, like Titanic time, like 1914.
1999.
No, he's like 1985, 1995 is like the 1900s. So when I was telling him about going to my mom's house because it's summertime and mommy's working and daddy's working, maybe I'll send y'all to his great grandma in Greek. It's not very fun at her house. She has like all these like. She has like that thing on the wall that she talks on, and
So you use the landline?
her phone with the cord. My mom still has a corded phone on the wall, and like she's like, oh, like the olden times. It must have been so hard to grow up in the 1900s.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
He said that.
That's going to
And
really
this-
kick you in the butt.
It totally does. It totally does. And all the things that we do for our kids now, people say we're raising snowflakes because back in our day, how did we survive? There's an
I
article.
bet you every generation says that,
we
though.
went
I don't know.
Gen X went too far.
We
The other
caught
way.
it
We
too
went too
much.
hard with them
Yeah.
being softer
These
because
kids
everyone was so hard to us.
These kids that are coming up now, yeah.
So here are the things that parents of Gen X kids did that would be considered neglect today. And I think
Let's check the
majority of us
in the room
which
could
one
check
that's
these.
happened to us.
ignoring the school bully. You've come home, you're telling your parents you're getting your butt beat every day at lunch or under the bleachers or behind the lockers or whatever. And your parents are like, so what?
Yeah, my dad said just punch him in the nose.
I think you're going to say something.
I'm like, yeah, then you get your ass kicked.
Yeah,
You
no.
go for the punch and you miss. And then he has cause because you threw the first punch.
Okay, the other one, not making your children wear their seatbelt.
I never.
We
This was
never
a
wore
thing.
them.
This was a thing in the 80s
back
before it
seat?
became a law in
No,
Texas.
Never did.
I remember my dad got pulled over. We were driving to Austin, and I was in the backseat laying down because I was so tired. And it was a seatbelt law then. But I had unbuckled my seatbelt to lay down because he had a Cadillac. And that's like a bed in the backseat.
Oh yeah, that's
And
nice.
my dad got pulled over for speeding, and the cop gave him a ticket because I wasn't in my seatbelt.
Oh man,
So at
I bet
least,
he
you
was
know.
mad at you.
But they had that law.
I was like,
that's
I
not a
couldn't
recent
believe it.
law
Yeah, I thought that was
It was like in the,
thought
in
it was
the
a
mid
recent law in the
to
back.
late 80s.
in the back seat, maybe the front seat. Were you the front?
No, I was in the back because it was my dad and his brother.
Yeah, we
No, it was
never
in the
wore
back.
seatbelts.
Maybe he was just a state trooper that had a, you know, sometimes
also
those
had
state
a-
troopers,
we
they're
had a
way
station
harder than a
wagon.
regular cop.
Did,
Okay.
did you ever have one growing
Oh, yeah,
up?
the station wagon was the worst because you're facing the traffic
Yeah.
in that back bench. A station wagon is like the 80s Suburban. I don't know when the Suburban was created. I got to ask my Chevy people.
Like
But you
minivans,
had
that
the-
was everything.
Yeah, the two in the front, and actually it was a bench in the front, so you could put a kid in between you guys.
Hey.
And then you had the bench in the middle, and then the bench in the back was facing out.
You get like 11 people in there easy.
And then somebody would lay
You
down
get
the
three in
bump
the front,
the
3 or
bottom.
4 in the front, and then the second row is a bench. You know,
You get
3
four
or
in the
4.
front?
And then the back.
Small
They're
were you?
small.
Yeah, I guess so. Other
the
things
backs of the
that
3.
parents of Gen X kids did that we considered neglect today, just letting their kids roam the neighborhood.
Oh my God, that was us.
Not
we just had a
letting
curfew
anybody-
to get home, but my mom and dad, we didn't have cell phones, and they had no idea where we'd go. We lived off of like Fry Road and Psalms, which is right over there, and we would drive our bikes past Bear Creek. They'd be like 5 miles away.
The problem is that we hear so many stories that.
No, kidnapping.
Like I never let my kids ride their bike around the street. I was too scared because you hear maybe Crime Stoppers tells us. some
Yeah,
of
and
these
human
stories.
trafficking is
Human
such a real
trafficking.
thing.
It's like that's awful.
Snatch a kid.
the stuff you
Different
hear.
world we're living in.
And also mall riding is to that point. You would get dropped off at the mall. If you're
Memorial
Gen
City.
X, they would just let you drop off at the mall and you'd be there for hours and hours. Well, now that's like a prime picking for sex and human trafficking.
We
What was
think, but-
your mall?
That's
we
what we
think
think.
that, but we don't know if it is.
Yeah.
It's-
Rolly, you got dropped off at Sharpstown?
It was the Galleria mostly because Christie's is not too far from the Galleria, but I did spend some time at Sharpstown Mall. But the Galleria, I remember just being so bored one time because we were there for so long. Me and my two friends were just riding the elevators in Galleria too.
You can go see a movie there or
We
something.
were just so bored. There were 2 theaters in the
Yeah.
Galleria in
At
the
the
90s.
Galleria?
They
In the
used to have
Galleria in the
movie theater,
90s.
yeah.
Galleria 3, there was a garage entrance. I think they've blocked off now to do something else with it. But Galleria 3, there was an entrance in the garage where you go right past the Galleria 2 movie theater and the food court to get to like where the elevators are in Galleria
They had it in
2.
2000 because when I came in for a wedding, I stayed at that Royal Sonesta
Yeah, which is the Intercontinental. It was
in
the Intercontinental
2000.
Hotel.
And I remember instead of going to this Astra Dome, didn't the Astra World have a water park?
Yeah, it was called Water World.
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole family went to that. We went to a movie.
In the Galleria.
Yeah, we're like, I don't want to go
Yeah.
to the heat. I want to go to a movie. So I remember seeing a theater.
Other things that would get parents arrested for neglect today if they did it when it wasn't the 80s or 90s is letting kids figure out how to cook their own food. Like letting kids just have at it in the
yeah.
kitchen.
Oh yes, I mean definitely. Well, that's because I hated my parents' food. I was like, I'll take
You're
it
the
from
better
here.
cook than your parents, right?
I would tell myself that. Yeah, I, mean, I think so. My dad made the worst pork chops known to man, and I can never
No, my
eat
dad
them.
sucks.
Does he know
unless-
that to this day?
I've
Does he
told
know
him
now?
no.
Yeah.
I've let him know.
How hard is it to make? You just do a little shake and bake, and you got your pork
no.
chop.
This is grilled, dry ass pork chops, and they're probably about the ones about an inch thick. So I can still never eat them. But when we go to a restaurant, I'll do a bone in.
Like at Perry's or when you
Yes, or I'll take the rest of
I
Leslie's.
thought that's
our
how pork
bosses.
chops. My whole family thought that's how pork chops were supposed to be because they got the thin ones.
Yeah, they got a little.
My dad was in the Pork Producers was the name of the group, and I tried these. I thought it was good. Put on bread, but then my sister married a guy from Chicago. He's like, no, that's not a pork chop. He's like, you kind of like you have it thick. Like
yeah, you gotta have a big
I mean,
old thick
isn't it
bone
kind of
in.
interesting when you do become an adult and you've found your own way in the kitchen when you realize, I didn't know there was such a better way for all this time.
Well, you come to the conclusion, it's like I grew up my whole life thinking I hated that food. Turns out I just hated the way my parents made it.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm pretty full foodie, obviously being from a food restaurant. And when I was a child, like I think all of us have something our parents could torture us with, like whether it's like for you, Ryan, sauerkraut, or Kevin, for you, that pork chop. For me, it was braised octopus, not char grilled. Braised.
Was it, so did it come chewy then? Oh, no.
Oh, the smell of that octopus in that house. And here's the thing. Greeks are very much into celebrating our name days, more so than your birthday. Like in my world, my Greek name is Stavroula. That is the female for Stavros, which is Steve or Stephen. And the name day of that day is September 14. On that day, you are supposed to have braised octopus with spaghetti. My mom would make it every year. My mom and dad loved it. I hated the smell.
That's not something
I
that's a
hated
typical
everything about
American
it.
dish at
What
home.
wasn't
color was
American.
the sauce? What color
It was a
it?
red sauce. And I could not, Ahmad, I could not. And so my whole life I was like, octopus sucks. It wasn't until my dearly departed friend Mary took me to Yaya Mary's and she ordered char grilled octopus. I remember telling her, I can't do octopus. I just can't. And she goes, really? It's so good, char grilled, like in Greece. You've never had it in Greece, char grilled? I go, no, I refuse. If there's octopus, I'm putting blinders on. She goes, just try it for me. Just try it. Oh my God, I've been obsessed ever since.
Oh, you love it.
Char grilled octopus is delicious.
Are there a lot of octopus in?
Yes, in
that
Greece.
area around?
If you see pictures of Greece with the domes and all that we were talking about yesterday, the other thing you see with the fishermen is all the octopus that is hanging on the line.
Yeah.
And they freshly char grill it with lemon juice, olive oil, some herbs.
Do they have a net to catch them, or
I don't know how they catch. I never
those
seen
things
them
are
catch
smart?
them.
They say
They are.
They
Oh,
pick
they
them
are?
up and they just like smash them or something on the ground. I don't know how they do it.
Do you
They do something crazy like
do
that.
you eat the
To get 'em.
do you eat the suction cups?
All of it. It's my favorite.
Really?
Oh my God, I'm obsessed now. But that braised, my mom made it one time because I said, Mom, you know what? All these years I was shaming you for that horrible braised octopus. You can make it on my name day. And she goes, are you sure it's going to smell up your whole house? I go, it's fine. I like octopus. No, we did not.
you like the way she makes hers.
No, the braised
You
octopus
like
is
a
not my friend.
You want charcoal?
No, I went to a restaurant once for a fancy dinner. Somebody was hosting us, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the braised octopus." I was like, "It's like slime. It's like the same way I feel about escargot. I can't,
Escargot
Eric.
is so good.
I can't with the escargot. It's slimy.
You're
It's
missing
like you're
out.
eating grass."
Just
Never had
buttery goodness.
Anyway, so those are some things that Gen X parents would have been or jailed for neglect today,
Oh, yes.
making us cook our own foods.
Now I'm finding about the seatbelt thing. I thought
Yeah,
the
look
seatbelt
at
thing
the
was
law.
When did the
something.
seatbelt
Do you guys have
law?
seatbelts? In the back
my
seat. I'm talking
family
about back
took
seat.
like 16-hour road trips. We would take that seatbelt off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I was on that road trip to Austin. I took it off. Listen, that could have been a thing,
That was
Eric,
back
that just
then.
the state trooper picked on my dad for, maybe. Because, look, it was like 1986 or 87, I think, when we got pulled over and I was in the backseat laying down that Cadillac and I didn't have the seatbelt on and he popped him for the speed and me not being in the seatbelt.
That sucks.
You
Okay,
don't
here it
sound
is.
like you're from Texas.
I know.
September
They're like,
1st,
I don't like that.
1985 is when the seatbelt law became mandatory in Texas.
The back seat?
So, yeah. Is it backseat
It
too?
initially
I
applied
think
to
all-
drivers
I
and
think all
front
the
seat
seats.
passengers.
Ours is just front in Illinois.
Oh, it was not. It was later expanded to include all passengers in
Yeah.
2009.
That's what I thought.
Wow,
I thought
that's
we were
crazy.
here when it happened.
But you know how those state troopers, that's like your
Oh, yeah.
fear.
They got that big.
They have
power
their own
trigger.
rules in their own head.
Right.
However they're feeling, they're going to do
They're
whatever.
always angry because they got to wear that stupid hat.
Listen, you
I
guys.
drive a red Chevy truck, by the way. State troopers, if you're looking for me.
Look at the
Okay.
eye roll on Kevin.
Popsicle red.
He got rid of his truck. Now he drives a dentist car.
Dentist
Whatever you think
car.
that looks like.
Yeah, if you
Kinda
see
no,
it, you'd be
it's
like, "Oh my god, my dentist drives that."
Anesthesiologist. At least pick
Is that
somebody.
right? Okay, it makes more than a dentist.
They do.
If y'all miss anything in the show today, go to krbe.com or download the app or just tell your smart speaker to play KRBE and you can get our podcast. It lives there forever. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, which tomorrow's Thursday. That's roses. We're going to call up somebody to offer them roses and find out if their mate's cheating or not and more. Thanks for listening today, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.